afternoon, everybody. It's your favorite Rasta out here, J. Ryan. Now, you are wondering, what are we doing on the sidewalk? Well, I am here to bring you Sidewalk Conversations. Now, this cast that you see here, I have Colin Best on my far left, and we have Kadeem Joseph to my immediate left, right? Yeah, I'm gonna get it right. And we have, I'll make sure my director is right. And we have Aziz Abraham behind of the camera. He don't want to chat today. We don't know why, but everybody know Aziz can chat. So really, Aziz reached out to me and said, yo, Tizzle, we need to do something since you're on vacation. I don't care what it is creative wise, but let's just do something. So I said, you know what? Let's do it. And I decided to wrote my two good friends them in and said, let's just have a random conversation about anything. So we out here. Basically, anybody want to say anything? Well, watch chat about
it is enough.
Well, watch chat about.
You know, mental illness we can work.
I can talk about that too. We can talk about that.
So we're gonna talk about mental illness
In men.
in
men. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Mental illness within men. Well, let me start it off in that regard. I find as men, we go through a lot that we don't really talk about, and we conjure up things on the inside until they reach to a breaking point where when they get to the breaking point, society basically looks at how we react rather than asking what caused us to react that way. And they don't really see it from our point of view to say, yo, this happened to me, such and such, and you kept it on the inside, rather than saying, you know what, I have these issues and I need an avenue where I can deal with these problems. Rather, we're taught to just muzzle it, shut it down, deal with it whatever way you can. And it's not really acceptable to show your emotions or deal with your problems openly.
I mean, there's a real issue with men and mental health. If you go through town, you see more men than women on the streets, drugged up on alcohol or whatever else they are drugged up on. It's a problem with how we deal with the situations that face us, and whether or not we think there's an outlet.
Yeah.
You know, because I think sometimes society sets us up for failure. They tell you, hey, you can't feel, you can't speak about how you feel, or you're weak. But that in itself, holding things in, ultimately makes you weak.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at those emotions, that pent-up anger, those pent-up emotions being put out there in negative ways.
Yeah,
and ultimately, it's not necessarily just the people who are victims of that anger or whatever that feel it. You also feel it, because you're now a victim of your own emotional sabotage.
But at the same time, you know, when you look at the statistics, you know, for instance, men are the ones who commit suicide the most a lot of the times. And it's just a society of it all, because when men go through certain things in their lives, men are the ones who have most of the burdens on their back.
Yeah.
In a sense, they have to be the provider and all sorts of stuff. And at the same time, when you come out and say you're going through X, you're going through Y, this body, you know, it's like a joke. It's like, you just buckle up and, you know, everything will work its way out. But a lot of the times, you know, there isn't as much avenues and programs and outlets for us to really express ourselves, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to come in and say, you know, there's more avenues for females, but it kind of is. There are much more avenues for females out there.
There are more avenues for
women. And I think that we need more avenues for us. If more avenues were there, you know, I think all the statistics wouldn't be as high, and, you know, we would have better opportunity in a sense to speak out and really get our, you know, problems heard.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that women don't go through stuff and don't have their own issues. It's just to say that there needs to be a concerted effort as well to ensure that men understand where they fit and that they too can express themselves in creative and expressive ways that allows them to deal with their stuff.
What I find as well too, I find it's a case where we neglected our mental health over the years, and it's just like we swept it under the carpet till it piled up so much to the point where we can't ignore it anymore. That's what I really find. Where you would think there will be avenues for men not really much avenues out there, but what I will say is that if you can find yourself in a focus group or surround yourself with men who you can just generally sit down and have a conversation without any sort of bashing or judgment, and it can help you to deal with those issues, that's a start.
I mean, and as well, you need friends that will call you out as well, you know, on your BS. Because I think sometimes, because we can be in like, what's that word I'm looking for? Like a capsule, like group think. Everybody thinks the same.
Yeah.
So nobody's there to say, hey, yo, what you do look well. In a sense, you know.
True.
You know, you always need those people to like call you out as well. Especially, and you brought up something, you know, for years upon years, all the way back down to slavery. Like black men were not taught to be expressive. You can't say, oh, massa raped my wife and cry.
Yeah.
Because that's weakness. You know, you get beaten down even more as that sign of weakness. And we weren't raised back then to be around our wife and kids, to actually play a role in family and family planning. We were just bred to breed more people. You know?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things to unpack as men, as black men, that is gonna take time.
Okay. Let me switch it up and ask something real quick. It just came into my mind. How do us as men, or y'all, or was it us, deal with insecurities when it comes to females that they don't know? Like the insecurities that you have to make sure you are confident within yourself. Let me put it in that regard, because some of us, we have some insecurities that we don't want to talk about or we don't share with the opposite sex.
Insecurities? I don't have insecurities.
Hear that one day. Hear that one day. Hear that one day.
Oh, that's a loaded question. I don't know. I don't know. That is a loaded question. How do we deal with insecurities? Right, that's what you're asking.
Yeah. How do we deal with it?
I think for us, like in general, even myself, and I'm supposed to be woke. Like sometimes, if you get a blow to your ego, like your whole world just comes crashing down.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Like I felt that I was at a place where I can deal with certain things. You know, a woman telling me certain things, or feeling embarrassed in public. But I don't know. That's a hard question. I don't know how to answer that.
I don't really feel embarrassed, to be honest.
What insecurity?
Somebody make a comment. In the comments, it didn't really matter to me. I don't really take any kind of way because I know a few people always make comments. People always have something to say about you.
True.
You have to be, positive. I would like to believe, especially right now. Positive is very important. You don't want to take on too many things because that can really affect your mental state as well.
True.
I personally don't really take on a lot of things. Although people like to give me the, I'm the nonchalant kind of guy. Because that's just the way I am. That's just the way it is.
Well, this brings us to the end of Sidewalk Conversations, people. I hope you enjoyed it, and check us out next week to see what we have coming up next.